Good morning, friends. It's Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. This week we are using the PsyCard Oracle deck. There's information about this in the description box below. I'm going to take a moment to tap into the collective energies of the day to bring through some general messages. These messages are timeless, so whenever you happen to find this video and you click on it, and you're inspired to watch, there's likely a message here for you. So take a moment to tap into your own intuition, your own higher self, your own spirit guides. Whatever card comes up, reflect on it. You might receive your own personal insights and messages. Given the messages that I have are general and for the collective, take what resonates and leave the rest behind. And we'll see what Spirit has for us today. Spirit, the energies of today. The Warrior. Seriously, is this like the second week in a row that the first card of the week and the last card of the week ended up being the same card? I think this is like the second week in a row that that's happened. The daily card for the first daily card for that week and then the last daily card. So we had this one a week ago. Oh, that's beautiful. The Warrior. With all of the changes in the energies of that have been moving around recently, it feels like there could be another culmination point where it's kind of like moving into phase 2 is what I just heard. So if there was a lot of stuff going on and, you know, there could have been some time this week where it was more of like, okay, there's not a whole lot to do. So that means take off the armor, clean it, polish it, you know, pound out the dents, it takes some rest, you know, eat well, try to sleep, recover from battle injuries. I'm picking up like almost like a 9 of Wands energy where there would have been a period of like after some difficult struggles, you're almost at, you know, the end of clearing out that wave of difficulty or challenges. And in that recovery period where it's almost like a healing, right? It's self-care, it's healing, it's rest and rejuvenation. It's kind of putting a certain semblance of order back into things, or standing off on the sidelines and just kind of like biding your time, waiting. There isn't a whole lot of planning or strategy going on necessarily, because it's almost like waiting for the storm to pass or the dust to settle before. There's still an alertness of being aware of what's going on, because what if you were in a position where you had to, you know, defend yourself? I'm running with this warrior analogy, okay? But at the same time, it's like there is sort of a safe space for rest and recovery and sort of gathering strength, right? So now I'm hearing like that time of that 9 of Wands, recovery, patience, biding your time, waiting, resting, healing energy seems to be clearing out itself. And I'm picking up on that energy. Like they said, now it's time for phase 2. So it's almost like now it's time to go ahead and, you know, put the freshly cleaned armor back on and take a look at the plans and the strategies, or what our next moves are, what we're working towards, rallying our energy for stepping into like the next part of something, or the next phase, or the next chapter. It doesn't have like a fresh new beginning feeling to me. It could for you. But what I'm picking up on is this energy of continuation after a period of having had that rest time, having let something that could have been a blockage or a challenge clear itself out, almost like having that cleanup crew come in, and after all of the changes you've made and the challenges you'd overcome, and all of the things done, it's almost like the cleanup crew that comes in and sweeps away like the leftover bits and pieces that were lying around. And that allows you then, as you continue to work, yeah, I even got like they just showed me a picture, and this could be an example. I don't know if this is anybody's situation per se, but as an example, they kind of showed me like this picture of a workshop warehouse type of a setting, where whatever was being created or built or packaged or manufactured or shipped, and now they're specifically showing me a woodworker shop, I guess, to clarify the example. So it's like after having gotten through that one, say it was a commissioned project, or it was a particular foundational piece for what's to come next, right? After that one got completed, or at least that part of it got completed, and that's off to the side, then it's like the cleanup crew comes in and like puts all the tools away and sweeps up the floor and gets rid of all of the debris and blah, 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 right? And so, as you review your plans, as you review your next steps, or what's the next phase of this project, or what's the next thing on my plate, you can walk into a fresh, clean space, and you're either going to, so there's something here about like continuation, continued growth. So it's not like a brandy, they're not showing me, I'm not picking up on the energy vibe of a brandy spanking new project. I'm picking up on like continued growth, continued movement forward in whatever direction you were already going, but having just done a lot of work, really putting a lot into it, and then taking that rest period. The cleanup crew got all of that stuff out of the way, and now you're going to be making your assessments, your decisions, your next steps, setting yourself up to walk into phase 2. Because remember, at the beginning, that was the phrase that they used. So this is actually quite lovely warrior energy. It's definitely about continuing. Anything that you've been through didn't stop you. And that's beautiful. That's awesome. Whatever went on didn't block you. It may have caused you to tweak a few things, change a few things, make a few alterations here or there, but it didn't stop it. And that's important as you're looking at your own healing journey, your own self-development, your own progress through life, but also your progress towards your dreams, towards towards your fulfillment. It's important that you recognize that everything really kind of is as it should be, and you can keep going with confidence, because I'm also getting this sense of the next phase. It's not so much that it's got like this deciding factor to it, although it might, depending upon your own personal situation, but and I'm not going to say like it's an all or nothing kind of a thing, but I have a feeling of something big, something big on the horizon that's going to create an expansion of the growth and the progress that you're already working towards. And so I'm feeling like when a warrior's in conflict, it's do or die, it's all or nothing. You might have that warrior spirit, but you don't have to lock yourself into that sort of black and white thinking of it has to be this, right? You're on a path, you're making progress, and it can feel like hard work sometimes. The challenges can feel insurmountable, overwhelming. They can put a pressure on you that feels like it really is all or nothing, or this is going to break, right? But that's really kind of not the case. And the strength of the warrior spirit is being able to, in one sense, it's like pick and choosing battles. Is that really worth, I know how powerful my warrior spirit is. Is that really worth, is that the challenge that's worthy of my time, energy, and attention? And being able to, in knowing your boundaries and knowing what's truly important, being able to handle some of the outliers relatively swiftly with little effort. And then seeing some of the bigger stuff that has a heavier pressure, but seeing it for what it is. I'm a strong warrior spirit, and this is a challenge that is worthy of my strength. And I know that I will be able to handle this and continue moving forward, right? So there's this energy of strength and personal empowerment, and I feel like it's available to you today. So as you prepare, maybe you're preparing to start a new work week, maybe you're preparing to start a new project, or again, the next phase of a project, or maybe you're starting to anticipate, like you can feel something's coming, and so you're anticipating some of this new energy coming in, new messages, new communications, big changes that are going to be settling in over the coming week or weeks or months or so. You need to sit with that energy of your own personal empowerment and realize that you do have what it takes to handle everything on your path, because it's constantly pushing you forward. It's constantly creating growth and progress. They just showed me another example in terms of challenges creating growth and progress. High impact aerobics. Like the strength of your bones comes from the amount of pressure and impact that you can put on them. We can especially see it with like kids, teens, right? That's why the running and the jumping and the climbing and all of that kind of activity is actually really good for strengthening their bones, because it is with the pressure of impact. And it needs to be varied, sometimes it needs to be a light walking versus, a hard pounding marathon race running or something like that, right? But it's the impact that creates strength in the bones and helps the bones to build and get stronger. And so I'm kind of like seeing that, like when we look at our challenges, or when we look at difficulties or problems or disagreements or conflicts, not as something that's trying to block us, not as something that we have to fight against, but rather there's an energy that's being brought to the table that we can work with. And in so working with it, it will make us better. It will make us stronger. It will help us to see something differently and to gain a different solution to whatever's in front of us. And if we've been working at the same problem or challenge or difficulty repeatedly, whether it's a pattern over time or whether it's like that one thing, then we might really need to take that assessment and say, okay, it's not just to quote unquote teach me a lesson. It's bringing some level of power and skill and perception or inspiration. It's somewhere in there is something useful, and it's bringing something useful to the table. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here. And you are the one that gets to determine what that usefulness is. And once you determine what that usefulness is for yourself, or if you're managing a project or a group for the group or for the higher purpose, once you determine that, and others could have different opinions, others might agree with you. In their personal experience, it might be different than yours. But for the whole of, like, say, a team working on a particular project, they might see it a little bit differently, but everybody can kind of see how that comes together, right? But once you determine what that usefulness of this challenge or problem or conflict or difficulty or whatever the case might be is, then you can see, receive what the solution is, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to take it personally. You know what I mean? You don't have to feel bad about the fact that either you went through it or that it was a difficult time or anything. We know those things are true, right? We know that they're true. But it doesn't have to be about that. It's about the strength and integrity with which you own it and say, this is what I'm getting out of that, and that's useful to me, and moving forward. So today's energy of the warrior spirit, and I'm getting this sense of suiting up for another period of potentially hard work, but one that we can be excited about because it's creating growth and it's creating progress. And so let yourself completely sort of rest up and recover. You might be assessing your situation or looking ahead maybe on your calendar or your task list and say, okay, these 3 things are the step-by-step focus for the next week or month or whatever the case might be, and sort of just preparing yourself in mindset and in centeredness and strength for going ahead and moving forward. So that's a beautiful energy today. And another week of full circle messages from Spirit, beginning and ending the week with the same card. So I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. And also a reminder that keep an eye out for a bonus reading for like a look ahead for the week. It's not going to be an individual day-by-day card thing. There will still be daily tarot readings, but there is going to be that extra bonus where it's going to be like a regular tarot spread looking at the energies that could be coming in over the next about 7 days or so, give or take. So wishing you all the best, peace and blessings. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And thank you so very much for being here. I truly do appreciate it. Have a great day.